Hey there, fellow wanderers. The air is heavy and cool, tinged with an earthy musk that hints at a distant world illuminated only by the flicker of candlelight. You step carefully along a narrow path, feeling the crunch of frost-crusted grass beneath your feet. Mist clings to the air, a shroud that blurs the line between what is seen and what is imagined. The village lies before you, a sleepy patchwork of timber and thatch, its quietude broken only by the faint rustle of wind through the skeletal trees. You might sense the distant echo of hammers striking anvils, the lowing of cattle from nearby fields, or the occasional bark from a lone dog. The medieval world surrounds you, one grounded in hard labor and a relentless struggle for survival. This is not a fairy tale you're stepping into, but a tapestry woven with threads of truth and toil. It's here, under this waning crescent moon, that we begin to uncover why it sucked to be a medieval potter. The potter's journey is far from romantic, filled with muddy hands and aching backs, where each sunrise is a reluctant promise of another day tethered to the wheel. But before diving deeper into this gritty past, I ask only this. If this kind of raw, unvarnished truth speaks to you, click like, hit subscribe, and leave a trace of yourself in the comments. Tell me your city, your time, your state of mind. Now, dim the lights. Let the hum of your fan blend with the wind of centuries past, soothing your senses as we descend into the depths of time. Let's begin. And remember, in medieval times, even survival was a luxury. The small houses that make up the village wind along an uneven road, some leaning precariously, revealing a life of constant patchwork and repair. The potter's dwelling stands among them, distinctive mainly for the little signs of clay drips and a garden of discarded shards near the doorstep. You imagine yourself waking each morning not to the gentle glow of dawn, but to the bruising cold of an unheated room. It's the 15th century, and you're living the life of a potterer profession, crucial yet undervalued, where creativity and survival balance precariously on a tightrope. As you muster the will to leave your straw-filled mattress, the dampness clings to your skin, reminding you of the long hours ahead. There are no electric kettles here to speed you into wakefulness, only a dying fire that begs to be rekindled before a simple meal is prepared. You hear the faint whispers of your neighbors through thin walls, sharing in their morning rituals, each marking the start of another day's labor. You pull on rough, homespun garments that carry the scent of clay and fire, preparing to blend into your role within the village's rhythm. With the first rays of light catching the morning mist, you step out into the world. Your workshop is a humble space, neither grand nor ornate, where your potter's wheel takes center stage. It's a familiar old friend, this wheel, a simple mechanism driven by foot power, requiring both skill and rhythm. Your tools are laid out neatly, though they are few. A knife, a wire cutter, a stone for shaping, all worn from years of faithful service. Here, everything bears the patina of long use and constant repair, emblematic of a life lived with limited means. A potter's hands are never truly clean. Even now, an invisible layer of dust and clay accompanies every gesture, physical remnants of your craft. As the day progresses, you'll find yourself steeped deeper in this earthy material. The clay, once extracted from a pit not far from your home, is a stubborn beaster mixture of grit and earth that concedes to becoming art only after a struggle. It possesses a life of its own, clinging unpredictably to your fingers and resisting transformation with determined stubbornness. Historians still argue whether potters held any special esteem in their communities. On one hand, they provided essential everyday wares. On the other, they were often subject to the whims of local markets and social hierarchies, where the fruits of their labor were taken for granted. Regardless, what remained consistent was an unspoken understanding that to be a potter was to live with constant uncertainty, an eternal waltz with instability. You'll feel the weight of this uncertainty often, especially as seasons shift and change dictates your livelihood. But for now, the morning invites you to lose yourself to the monotony of the wheels turning. Each pump of your foot, each touch of your hand, transforms a shapeless mass into something with form and purpose. The repetitive motions serve almost as a meditation, lulling you into a trance that drowns out the world's external distractions. Yet even amidst this creative quiet, a half-muttered joke lingers. Bet you never knew your life would revolve endlessly around circles. As you continue your work, you cannot help but notice the growing chill which permeates your bones the moment you pause to assess your progress. A faint shiver runs through you, a reminder of how the elements, just like your trade, refuse to easily bend to your comfort. Firewood is precious, too often burned away into fleeting warmth, leaving only grey ghosts behind. In these early stages of our exploration, you're just beginning to understand the daily challenges faced by those who crafted the mundane masterpieces of medieval life. Yet we've only glimpsed a fragment. Stick around, and we'll uncover the deeper intricacies of the potter's world, ranging from the sourcing of raw materials to the intricacies of kiln firing gall, forming the narrative fabric of those who lived and breathed clay. Keep pace as we continue into the heart of history's humble, unsung artists. Each morning blends into the next, as you find yourself trudging along the well-worn path of your trade. The destination? Your potter's wheel, a steadfast axis around which your day revolves. The life of a medieval potter, you quickly learn, is governed by a rhythm as predictable as the turning of your wheel, yet is filled with nuances that keep it from becoming mundane. As you prepare to begin your day, there's a sense of urgency in the air, the kind that comes when survival hinges on effort and efficiency. This isn't a leisurely stroll into creative bliss. It's a rigorous routine demanding precision and perseverance. From the moment the light of dawn spills over the village rooftops, you're already behind the pace, racing time and the whims of weather and fortune. The heart of the potter's day beats strong and relentless. There's the preparation, the sourcing, and the slog of carrying raw materials rain or shine. Let's not forget the ever-looming threat of the guild's regulation. It isn't merely about producing a functional earthenware jug. It's about maintaining the delicate dance between form, function, and the constraints imposed upon you by those who claim authority. Your work begins by gathering the morning's clay, a labor of necessity that requires more than a fair share of effort. Just beyond the outskirts of the village lies a patch of earth that, for generations, has surrendered its clayer length and depth, quarried by time and toil. Through the seasons, you've grown familiar with its caprices, the sticky mire of spring, the rock-hard crust of winter, each condition demanding specific skill, and sometimes sheer stubbornness to extract what is needed. You can almost hear the resonance of a modern sigh as you hoist the basket loaded with damp earth onto your shoulders. Just as today's office worker dreads their inbox, you dread the mound of clay. Complain, and a fellow artisan might chide, "Remember, the clay is forgiving until it's not." They would be right. The beauty of your craft is that each piece of pottery carries the silent inscription of its maker's hand, a story told in every imperfection and achievement. Back in your workshop, the day's rhythm intensifies. You reclaim your place at the wheel, the familiar hum of creation enveloping you. Here, there's no automation, no red "I'm busy" button to ward off distractions. Every turn of the wheel aligns with the cadence of your foot, every curve with the touch of your hand. The clay resists at first, like a child reluctant to rise from slumber, but slowly it yields. So too must you yield to the persistence of the task before you. Historians still argue whether the unique fingerprints of medieval potters were considered marks of artistry or just unintended signatures. Each fingertip pressure and palm swipe left an indelible mark on their works, symbols of a struggle with form and function. After all, in an age without mass production, the imprints of individuality were unavoidable. The midday brings a brief reprieve, a moment to stretch sore muscles, to eat, and to exchange jests with fellow artisans. Your gathering isn't grand, perhaps a bit of cheese, bread, and the weak ale brewed by your own hand. It's nourishment, both bodily and social, before the afternoon sky reminds you that daylight is fleeting. Everything in medieval life, after all, is a prisoner to the rising and setting of the sun. Your work over the next few hours blurs into a series of compositions, symphonies of clay spun into existence, then carefully set aside to dry. The potter's skill is not an instant gratification product. It's a commitment summarized in every smoothly crafted edge and seamlessly joined handle. All your creations await their eventual trial by furious process, both literal and metaphorical. Every piece that passes through your hands represents not only your craft, but also your livelihood. A potter in medieval times was both reviled and revered for their reliance on a fickle commerce system, revered for the whimsical creations that outlasted their makers. The poor pot, aesthetic, simple and utilitarian, contrasted sharply with the rich pot, adorned and expensive, neither easily made nor sold. By the day's end, your arms ache from the labor, and a subtle euphoria drapes itself over you like a comforting balm earned through honest work. You pause to look at the pieces lining your shelves, their shapes warped slightly by drying and gravity, undeniably individual. You might pause for a brief moment of self-indulgence, thinking about the lives those pots will touch once they leave your possession. Even everyday items can spark joy and jokes. Imagine someone paying for art they'll serve stew from. As you close the workshop for the night, the sun dips beyond the horizon. You retreat to your home, comforted by the warmth and camaraderie of evening, often shared over stories of the day's discoveries and missteps. There's laughter, a rare and precious commodity, much like the pots you create. And so, much like the clay under your hands, we shape our exploration crafted through understanding and persistence, a journey far from finished. Your toes find the straw-stuffed mattress, a welcomed reprieve as you drift towards slumber, bracing for another turn of work tomorrow. The quiet whispers of the village breathe a tapestry around you of stories yet untold, an intricate weave destined to continue. As the first light of dawn whispers through the thatched roof above, you rise to greet another day. But today, your mind is preoccupied with a singular task: the raw materials. Without them, no pot will see completion, and today's oven will remain cold. To shape earth into something of utility and beauty, you first need to wrestle it from the literal earth, and that process is neither simple nor straightforward. Gathering the clay often feels like embarking on an expedition. Armed with crude tools, you set out, each step measured, and every tilt of balance calculated as you traverse uneven ground. You begin at the treacherous edge of the village, where fields peter out into swaths of untouched land. There's a particular spot you've come to know well, nestled beside a copse of windswept trees, where the clay sleeps beneath the sod, waiting to be awoken by your toil. For the medieval potter, clay is more than just a physical substance. It's a living entity, spirited as it is unyielding, with moods that change as often as the weather. Historians still argue whether these beliefs were a conjecture or grounded in reality, but the whims of materials were undeniably a volatile force potters grappled with daily. The right blend, neither too gritty nor too refined, could mean the difference between a pot well fired and one reduced to shards. Today, nature seems to smile upon you as you set to work. The earth parts with a bit less resistance, yielding clay with a harmonious mix, a balance of robustness and pliability. Even as your fingers bite into the mire, the tactile experience is somehow oddly rewarding, a tactile dialogue between you and the material at hand. This is no mere extraction, it's a negotiation with the earth, keenly aware of the silent testament each vessel will eventually hold. But it's not just the physical challenge you face. Superstitions lace themselves through this endeavor, persistent as the wind at your back. It's said that clay dug during the full moon produces stronger, more durable wares, its transformative power influenced by celestial whispers. Whether you nod to tradition or dismiss it depends on the potter, but today the sun rides high in a sky, streaked with the promise of fair weather, and you work pragmatically, turning your thoughts more to immediate concerns than lunar cycles. As you gather the clay, your senses are heightened to the world around you. The rustle of branches, the distant babble of a brook, the sudden keen whistle of a bird. The air holds a scent familiar yet ever-changing, a mix of loam and something ineffable. It melds in memory with another scent, an older one of earth turned by countless hands before yours ever graced this place, a lineage of labor chiseling out the history of craftsmen like etchings upon stone. Then there's the sand to collect, essential for stopping clay from sticking during the crafting phase and lending a toughened finish. It demands a trip to a distant riverside, a journey not without its perils. With every step, you guard against too eager of feet turning soft sand into critter-friendly craters. A delicate balance indeed, for too much sand results in brittle pots, their fragility unwelcome in the utilitarian roles they're destined for. Your full basket, heavy with clay and sand, tugs insistently at your shoulder. The return journey from the riverside becomes an exercise in persistence and balance, and you navigate the terrain much like someone carrying home modern world's essentials from an unwelcome grocery trip. Yet despite the weight, you marvel at nature's abundance, its raw, unrefined promise, strapped securely within your grasp, destined for transformation through skill and fire. Finally, punctuating this effort, there's the potion of ash and water, a glaze primitive yet pivotal, harvested from the very pyres you once fed with fallen branches and leavings. Unrefined though it may be, this mixture holds the key to glazing, a process that turns dull earth into an object gleaming with both function and aesthetic beauty. Returning to your workshop, you unload your bounty. Your mind spins with calculations, translating the raw into the refined through the alchemy of potter's calculations, ratios and gestures by heart. Perhaps you let slip another jest, twinged with weary laughter. Forget diamonds, clay is this village's best friend, complete with the occasional tantrum. Soon, the pile of raw materials will become blended with water and molded by hand, drained and sieved to achieve just the right consistency before taking a turn on the wheel. It's the beginning of a familiar song, the melody underpinned by the rhythms of everyday necessity, the syncopated beats of hard work, tradition, and a pinch of superstition create the harmony that carries potters through days and nights in endless cycles. Yet this mundane aspect of your trade offers a curious satisfaction, the knowing that from these crude beginnings, will ultimately emerge something of meaning, however fleeting. As the evening draws near, a quiet pride settles in, knowing that today, once again, you've managed to piece together the raw elements. They await your next visit to the wheel, longing to be spun into identity and purpose, whispering the secrets of their claimed artistry. With another dawn breaking, you find yourself preparing to dive yet again into the laborious ritual that is clay preparation. Knees deep in mud, you feel the heaviness of the task press against you, both literally and figuratively. This crucial phase stands between raw material and your wheel, a bridge from which emerges the pliable promise of new creation. Before you stands a pile of recently gathered clay, cold and unyielding. When you kneel before it, there isn't the sterile cleanliness one might expect of modern artistry. No, this is elemental and gritty, where earth and effort coalesce. You plunge your hands deep into the muck, fingers meeting unexpected resistance. It's a sensation somewhere between a handshake with nature and an arm wrestling match you're unlikely to win without considerable effort. The rhythm of kneading is both meditative and relentless. Your arms move almost of their own accord, muscles working tirelessly to turn this collection of ordinary earth into a single, cohesive mass. It's a curious blend of art and physicality, akin to the craft of kneading dough, but here, the stakes align less with comfort and more with sustenance and skill. It's hard grind, leaving your body memorably imprinted with the day's exertions. With each turn and press, you continue to declaim impurities, pebbles, imperfect clumps, wetter bits that threaten to spoil the unity of the mass. You know well that even the tiniest imperfection can wreak havoc once the piece hits the kiln. Lose concentration for even a split second, and the results can shatter not just your creation but also the fragile equilibrium sustaining your livelihood. It's impossible to escape the constant crouch, a position that seems to serve only two purposes: spurifying the clay and inducing a medieval-level backache. You sometimes wonder whether the hunched figures depicted in artworks are merely artisans, immortalized mid-preparation. While your legs throb in protest and your back sings an age-old lament, there's a kind of camaraderie in this shared legacy of labor, from past hands to your own. Despite your focus, the day's preparations provide fodder for a stray thought or two about the whimsical beliefs woven throughout your craft. Some say the clay prepared during thunderstorms holds a unique power. Others dismiss such superstitions with a wave of their hands. Whether truth or mere fancy, the clay remains indifferent, its secrets known only through touch and experience. Even today, historians still argue whether these beliefs reflect practical wisdom or creative embellishment. But perhaps your thoughts give way to a lighter musing that a sack, labelled medieval stress ball clay, might fetch a fair coin among stressed modern folk. The kneading, after all, often releases some of the day's tensions, almost as if the effort itself channels away the weight of the world, leaving behind buds of occasional humor. As the morning light strengthens, you turn from kneading to the delicate task of wedging, borrowing its smooth motions from the actions of your family's hearth. Repeatedly, you cut and slam the clay, each motion driving out lingering air bubbles and further mixing its composition. A needed stage for perfection before your material sits under the thrill of water and wheel. This repetitive action hints at moments of Zen stillness, despite the surge of industry around you, an interim where contemplation mingles with practicality. The sound of clay slapping against the wooden table holds a rhythm all its own, a percussion underlying daily existence. This process takes on a melodic quality, its syncopated intervals forming an ancient song understood by the cadre of craftsmen who share your guild. By midday, you pause, allowing yourself a moment of insight into your day's labor. The significance of this work, though arduous, is far from lost on you. You take heart, for you have seen the transformation, from shapeless mass to a work of skilled potential. It's no grand masterpiece, perhaps no poem sung from parapets, but for now, it endures as the baseline of your trade, a steady drumbeat informing the dance of life. Once preparation is complete, a new pile awaits its purpose, transformed, ready to take its turn upon the wheel. Each glistening, primed mound catches the scant golden light filtering through your workshop's window, promising a dance of center and form, merging intention with creation. You manage a chuckle. Your material, after all, has made it through quite the transformative journey, and even now, it catches shadows with deceptive artistry. With today's clay prepared and set aside, you turn to the homely comfort of washing hands and sharing bread with your fellow workers, each nugget of nourishment well earned. The water feels refreshing, though it never truly rinses away every speck of clay, a lasting reminder of your life's chosen path. And so, the day ebbs into afternoon, senses in tune with the reality that, like the clay itself, life is often shaped by unseen forces, molded by diligence and guided purpose. In this moment of quiet, before embarking again upon the wheel, you appreciate the humble satisfaction drawn from working closely with the earth. Tomorrow, as always, will come anew, another rotation beckoning in tradition's unending cycle. As the afternoon sun dips low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the village, you know it's time to engage with the familiar yet demanding rhythm of the potter's wheel. This companion, steadfast if a bit unruly, awaits your attention as much as the clay you've so meticulously prepared. The tools of your trade are a testament to the simplicity of medieval life, yet they are as essential to your craft as the hands that wield them. The wheel itself is a timeless marvel of engineering. Though primitive by today's standards, it's elegantly functional, a testament to the ingenuity of ancestors. It defies the modern notion of ease, relying on foot power to maintain a consistent spin. You pump the treadle, and the wheel responds, aligning its momentum with the intent of your fingertips. The rhythm you find here is unique. Each rotation aligns not only with your movements, but with the beat of your own living core, the heartbeat that sets pace for your day's artistry. Your tools lie close at hand, each bearing grooves and were unique to your signature methods. There's the knife, the versatile extension of your fingers, trusty and deliberate in its slicing ability, fostering the nuances of shape that will define your finished work. Beside it rests the wire cutter, an uncomplicated tool for severing your creations from their rooted base. Then there's the smooth stone, loyal to the details, providing the curve and finesse necessary to transform mundane cylinders into elegant silhouettes. In truth, you are well acquainted with these tools, each divot, every worn edge bound with familiarity, whispering tales of past creations and the occasional mishap you've managed to coax into artistry. No elaborate automatic system dictates your work here. These implements serve only as partners in your personal, enacted symphony, where the melody is composed anew each day. When you place the clay on the wheel, there's a moment of silent negotiation, a pact formed between matter and intention. The clay responds to your touch, resisting slightly before conceding to the pressure of your palms. As it spins, it seems alive, almost sentient in its subtle movements. Your fingers, honed to precision by years of practice, coax the shape into being. Gradually, under your guided rhythms, a vessel appears, a merger of form and function, infused with the provenance of your skill. A jest travels your lips. Who needs to lift weights when you can wedge clay? It's an inside joke shared by many a potter, one that speaks to the hidden strength gleaned from such a cycle of creation. Working each piece consumes its own energy and reflection, like sculpted prayers etched into each curve, made eternal through fire and form. Often, during these hours, your mind wanders into contemplation. How many before you have sat where you now sit, seeking the balance between art and utility? Or you marvel at the wonder there is a simple pleasure in knowing that these techniques, these very procedures unchanged for centuries, still bind humans across time and space. Scholars question how such simplicity has resisted the pull of change. Yet the answer lies in your own hands, in the relationship you forge with each vessel, each minute devoted to its crafting. Yet even here, humor peeks through the edge of diligent focus. A tongue-in-cheek muses, maybe poverty's not a requisite for art, but it sure builds character. A wry smile tugging as fingers coax unfired lips on the vessel apt for the steward of a pot too lopsided for practical use. As afternoon bleeds into evening and shadows lengthen, the weariness slips upon you, bone deep yet satisfying. The wheel spins down to a stop, the dance concluding for the day. Your eyes linger on the shapes newly born under your guidance, each telling a narrative of effort and hope. The lighting dims as insight starts to mingle with ritual. Soon, a finished pot will bear the marks of your technique, its edges holding evidence of both precision and your human hand. Here is the companionship of artistry with earth, a dialogue between potter and clay repeated endlessly throughout the years, persisting as an essential truth of making and living. You stand, gently rubbing sore knees, and set the day's work aside to begin drying, readying it for its next tremendous trial in the kiln. Careful, you align them like soldiers, steeled, alert and destined to bear witness to the coming transformation. The work tomorrow will be different, yet the essence remains unchanged. Another opportunity to spin, to craft, and to capture beauty from mud. In this closing setting, amongst shadows and clay remnants, you reflect how history continues, not through grand victories, but through little triumphs. Every piece holds something profoundly personal, yet remarkably universal. A tender connection between yesterday's traditions and tomorrow's potential, a testament to why truths remain, however humble they may be. Heart still pounding from the intensity of managing the fiery dance within the kiln, you continue to hover close, swept up in the anticipation of pot reveal. Each vessel inside carries not just clay, but the sweat and hopes of its maker. As you wait for the kiln to release its treasures, you can't help but reflect on how this transformative fire resembles the landscape of life, capricious, sometimes merciless, yet always imbued with potential for shaping and renewal. Despite being a process repeated countless times, kiln opening remains an event, a small-scale festival of crafter, rare moment when anxiety and anticipation breed excitement. For now, those pots lie silent behind the kiln's massive door, cooling slowly until finally the time arrives to discover the fruits of your labor. As the hours stretch onward, you occupy yourself by preparing tools to polish the day's successes and organize tools for tomorrow's efforts. Perhaps a bit of tinkering is required, retouching glazing brushes or examining the knife's edge. Interspersed chatter with fellow potters provides a welcome distraction as you wait. Over mugs of lukewarm ale, jokes and stories merge with the earthy scent of clove and smoke, morphing into laughter that chases away any tension. Remember that time we mistook sand for glaze? Laughs a neighbor, eyes twinkling in the late afternoon light. Ah, nothing like a rustic touch to send the merchant running for the hills. Despite fervent efforts, humor woven into this life becomes indelibly a comforting patch against the cold uncertainties of artisan existence. When the moment finally comes to crack open the kiln's door, an electric buzz runs through you, mingling trepidation with eager anticipation. You grip the handle with hands accustomed to toil, but tentative in unveiling what secrets await. It opens with a low, metallic creak. Warmth dissipates in the cool evening air. Inside, a kaleidoscope of shapes peer back at you, alive with color and potential, a testament to the meticulous dance crowned with fire. Slowly, ever so carefully, You and your companions extract the pots. It's almost a sacred communion with creations that divulge their stories and imperfections, free of embellishment. Historians tell of potters who gleaned truth from those early glimpses, who found art in crack-soon-expected testimonies, within each glaze blip or air bubble. Despite days of preparation, that first successful extraction is like unearthing newfound treasure small, hard-won victories clutched dear. Each piece surprises in myriad ways, perhaps revealing vibrant hues, rich dips and gradients formed by the smoke, or fascinating patterns of misbehaving glazes. The experience brims with discovery. Faults become teachers, while each curve narrates a silent tale. Load after load, each vessel grows in purpose to serve, to contain, to endure. Even the occasional misfire, although disappointing, folds into a deeper understanding of the craft. You'll learn, adapt, and dare until each lesson settles into the bones of your work. Outside the workshop doors, night has woven itself fully over the village. Stars brighten as if lit by the kiln's fire itself, suspended over the shadowed houses and streets. The air holds still, a canvas of chill, wrapped in the coziness of wool cloaks, a reminder of the world beyond for the weary but content artisan. You settle in for the evening, a meal shared with family, conversation flowing like ale at a feast. Here beneath this humble roof, the day's trials untwist into stories told over dim-lit tables, each word spun with warmth and alight with laughter. All around, the rhythmic snores of fellow villagers seem to echo the same tireless perseverance you felt and helped that day. Your mind quiets as you lay down to rest, the trials of the kiln slipping into dreams. A snug cocoon bears you gently, amidst woven textures and tender imaginings. Thoughts drift on forgotten currents, swept toward slumber's depths. Today found you a little weary, a bit singed, but with fresh creations to ponder and marvel at. Even this life, woven with challenge, holds serenity for the dedicated. As slumber edges closer, the whispers of kindling call back countless stories of potters who came before, who braved similar fires to see their artistry endure. You dream of earthen vessels carried through bustling medieval markets. More than just commodities, they're echoes of your labor, gratitude singing through every curve. Even as your eyes close, the kiln's warmth remains, mirroring in your heart the enduring fire of creative pursuit, smoldering through ages past and future yet unseen. As the first signs of dawn creak through the lattice of reality, you stir to face another day in the life of a medieval potter. Today, the sun casts gentle hues upon the quiet village, hinting at its plans to be radiant and relentless. The world outside gradually awakens alongside you, setting the perfect stage for a dive into the unique chaos of the medieval marketplace, buzzing heart of trade, and a realm where artistry meets commerce. Your pots, now fully cooled and ready for their debut, stand as both a testament to your skill and a beacon of hope for lucrative barter. The marketplace is a tapestry of sights, sounds, and smells a veritable orchestra of life. As you make your way toward it, your cart laden with painstakingly crafted pottery jostles gently, each piece cradled carefully to prevent disaster. It's a ritual that has played out countless times, yet each journey is accompanied by its own rushing anticipation. Imagine bustling scenes with traders shouting their wares, the air rich with the aromas of freshly baked bread and earthy raw produce. Setting up your stall is no small task, akin to preparing a stage where your pottery is the star performer. You arrange each piece meticulously, creating a display that gleams with glazed promise under the mid-morning sun. It's part art, part psychology. Enticing customers takes as much creative dexterity as forming the pots themselves. With everything in place, you settle into your role as both an artisan and a salesman, ready to engage and enliven your space with charisma and strategic bargaining. The marketplace has its unspoken rules, an ebb and flow as intricate as any laws. The vendors are a community most days, sharing in camaraderie and competition alike. You exchange nods with a nearby baker, laughing about the absurdities of juggling craft and commerce, perhaps even swapping some bread for one of your smaller pots, a friendly trade sealed by laughter and mutual respect. Of course, The market isn't just a hub for goods, but also a crossroads for tales whispered from far lands, rumor and news draping over stalls like woven vines. It's a stage for storytelling, an endlessly churning font of vibrant anecdotes and shared humanity. Within this crucible of interaction, you become not only purveyor of wares, but also a recipient of diverse narratives and fleeting encounters. Somewhere in between the eclectic conversations and the noise of bargaining, there lies a profound symmetry: customers haggling passionately over prices as you balance the need for fair compensation against the playful dance of opportunity. While each sale adds a nugget to the day's earnings, every transaction also seems to contain an insight, sometimes surprising, occasionally humorous, like when a customer imagines their new pot singing songs by the firelight. Yet this vivid extravaganza, where exchanges flow, isn't devoid of quirks, particular to the whims and idiosyncrasies of the medieval trade landscape. An example that springs to mind is the practice of kissing the pot, where a buyer might literally press their lips against the vessel. While intended to denote appreciation or judge its worth, it's also something that probably elicits a wry smirk and a joke shared later with fellow vendors. Imagine if their lips stuck. Historians might argue on the effectiveness of such eccentric customs, but within the confines of daily enterprise, traditions often take root without question, adding a flourish of the exotic to otherwise monotonous transactions. You move through these interactions with a practiced ease, a diplomat in the land of petty trade, sketching allies from your patrons without ever putting ink to page. Amid the symphonies of voices and footsteps, the marketplace transforms into an entity alive with cyclical energy. Economic tides rise and fall predictably. Sunlit hours draw customers before the cool shadows stretch east. By the time the sun begins its slow descent, goods begin to sell as customers seek last-minute bargains, and artisans scramble to empty their carts. Late in the day, a curious hum begins to fade. Your stall remains, a little emptier, the weight of your labor transferred into coins jingling within your pouch. You cast a last look over the fading marketplace, absorbing the energy slowly waning into twilight. The unsold pots become prospects for tomorrow, awaiting fresh faces drawn by novelty and necessity alike. You load what remains onto your cart, gratitude tinged with weariness, as your journey into craft and commerce ends, promising a new morning, a new opportunity. The echoes of the marketplace dissolve into the night, a cacophony of voices quieting until only silence remains under starlit canopy. Soon you'll find yourself at home, recounting the day's occurrences, its small victories, and inevitable shortcomings over shared meals. Any shimmer of success glows brighter against the reality of community life, elevated by the simple joys of survival. On the trail to sleep, strive for tomorrow's promise. The kiln's resurgence, fresh clay under fingertips, or simply a seamless glaze captured after years of trial. In darkness, the village rests alongside your thoughts, anticipation building for another cycle, another day. You ease into the solace of slumber, cocooned by the rhythmic pulse that underscores lives, lived in steady, unyielding pursuit. And so you drift into dreams laced with visions of new encounters, novel vessels, and echoes of barters, awaiting the turn of another trade's wheel. The morning sun creeps over the horizon, casting its optimistic glow over the awakening village. You breathe in the crisp air, readying yourself for another day in the life of a medieval potter. Today, your thoughts are consumed with the looming market and the inevitable competition with fellow artisans. In this bustling community, you are one among many striving to turn clay into livelihood, innovation into necessity. As you walk toward the market, the cacophony rises, a symphony of clinking metal, the chatter of traders setting up stalls, and the first cheerful notes of a minstrel tuning his lute. The scene is vibrant, alive with the bustling energy of people eager to make a living, where artisans like yourself compete not just with each other, but against time and the capricious nature of trade. However, it's not merely a battle, it's a delicate dance with fleeting opportunity. Your rivals are other potters plying their craft, each with unique styles and techniques. While camaraderie can be found in shared jokes after a long day, here, every pot, jug, or urn can turn an ally into competition. Past friendships are strained, and relationships forged over shared clay must navigate the rocky paths of market dynamics. Place your stalls side by side, strategically arranging your wares to catch the attention of those casually passing by. The greeting rituals vary: a nod here, a wave there, each acknowledging the unwritten rules of fair competition. Eyes scan neighboring stalls, taking silent mental inventory of what is being offered. Whispers of new techniques or finishes abound, a shared language of innovation spoken only in the potter's circle. Yet amidst the clatter lies an unspoken understanding. You are bound not just by rivalry, but also by a shared love for pottery. Such an environment, while challenging, spurs creativity, igniting a fire within each of you to not only meet but surpass the bar set by your peers. Perhaps there's an element of gentle, almost teasing one-upmanship. My glaze captures the sheen of a sunrise, one might claim, to which another retorts, mine reflects the moon's silvery touch. Each piece is born of individuality: a vase, designed to imitate a budding flower, or a bowl shaped like a rising wave. Your mornings and evenings might be spent experimenting, striving to innovate while keeping within the bounds of guild-imposed guidelines. The constant push and pull between creativity and regulation is a familiar dance, testing the balance between boundless imagination and practical application. Yet there's warmth to be found in this kind of rivalry. Customers wander, enthralled by the diversity of designs and craftsmanship, their preferences as varied as the pots themselves. Each visitor is drawn by something different: a particular curve, a delicate pattern, the utility of a handle that just feels right. Here, every artisan sees not only a potential sale, but an unspoken validation of their unique blend of artistry and skill. Historians still argue whether such competition increased the quality and diversity of medieval crafts, or merely fostered division among creators. If you ask the traders, their diversity surely enriches the tale of clay, each touch refined and honed under the weight of rivalry. A healthy balance seems to emerge from this discourse: a kaleidoscope of designs, bearing witness to individual flair tempered by a communal goal. And in the realm of pottery, no one is immune to the whims of fashion and the persisting caprice of trends. What sells today might be passé tomorrow, and the artisan's edge between timeless creation and fleeting novelty. Word travels fast, from Charlemagne to Canterbury, spreading tales of exotic shapes or glazes no one else possesses. Such stories spur envy and aspiration, serving as both a warning and a beacon at the same time. While their voices ring through the marketplace, one potter recounts the story of that time someone tried using animal figures in designer, humorous spoof, perhaps, but quickly gaining traction until suddenly it was a commodity. I guess you'd say they were a roaring success, echoes a voice through thick laughter. As the sun begins its decline toward the horizon, flickering colors of evening wrap around the market. Stalls begin to empty as potters secure their unsold wares. You exchange friendly nods with those around you, the competitive edge softening with the day's end. It's a world where artistic vision must coexist with economic reality, tempered to burn brighter with each challenge. The journey back carries a satisfying fatigue, another chapter of shared struggle in the artisan arena. Even as you leave the marketplace behind, the experience lingers, a reminder of the delicate interplay between collaboration and rivalry. It's a reminder that competition, in its most constructive form, nurtures skill, encourages ingenuity, and inspires those connected by the love of craft. And so, as night embraces the village, you find solace in the knowledge that this day's competition offered its unique rewards: a shared story among potters, where lessons were learned and new challenges anticipated. Tomorrow will dawn anew, filled with fresh opportunities and the promise of pottery's endless possibilities. As your eyelids flutter with the gentle pull of sleep, visions of colorful glazes and elegant shapes drift through, promising another vivid tomorrow. As dawn stretches its fingers across the sky, the village stirs into life, a clockwork of routine and rhythm. Yet, beneath the normalcy of daily toil lies the ever-present grip of the Gilden, invisible yet formidable force that dictates nearly every aspect of a potter's existence. Today, as you prepare to mold clay with hands seasoned by experience, the rules and regulations set by the guild weigh heavily on your thoughts. For any artisan in medieval times, guilds act as both safeguard and prison, offering stability while enforcing a rigid structure. Each guild stands as a towering bastion of trade, an organization that wields significant control over its members. They orchestrate the symphony within which all artisans must play, providing guidance wrapped in layers of rules that strangle freedom of expression with one hand while propping up the legitimacy of the craft with the other. By joining a guild, you gain the protective embrace of camaraderie, the shield that guards against underselling and unfair competition. They organize contracts and ensure craftsmanship remains of high quality, preventing unscrupulous tradesmen from muddying the artisan pool. As a potter, membership also grants you access to resources and connections, a network crucial in sourcing materials, finding apprentices, and exchanging ideas. However, this protective enclave comes at a price. The guild dictates the standards of your wares, the designs you can follow, even the techniques deemed acceptable. You must adhere to stringent guidelines about dimensions and finishes, coloring within the lines as defined by those governing bodies. The ceramic kingdom is tightly bound to tradition, making the creative process feel like painting by numbers rather than offering an artist's free rein. In hushed conversations held past the light of a flickering candle, artisans sometimes express their unease at the guild's stifling constraints. Remember when the guild master declared only 3 types of handle shape? One might whisper with a wry grin, the kind that bridges bemusement with resignation. You nod, recalling how such mandates often curtail the innovation you see as the soul of artistry. There's a distinct pecking order within the guilds, a ladder that often feels capped at the upper rungs. While you may dream of creating daring designs, the approvals required mean that only the most politically savvy or well-respected within the guild can truly push boundaries. But those that toe the line too strictly find themselves tangled in the webs of bureaucracy, their creativity dulled by unyielding tradition. Historians still argue whether guilds served merely as gatekeepers stifling creativity or facilitators stabilizing society's economic fabric. Your days often traverse narrow paths between convention and innovation, always under the watchful eye of the guild, each decision echoing back to acceptable practice. Even the selection of apprentices comes fitted with rules guild-sanctioned processes, steeped in heritage designed to preserve and propagate trade secrets tailored through centuries. In the medieval hierarchy, guilds leverage economic power, controlling the flow of work and the sale of any product. You have heard whispers of potters who tried to circumvent guild laws, crafting in secret, but their transgressions often came at a high price, a lesson, perpetuated in troubled mutterings. Despite it all, there are days when regulated routine brings comfort, when the guild pushes for harmony rather than constraint, and its rules guarantee a level playing field, allowing you to focus purely on the artistry, safe from the unpredictability of an unregulated market. As you set about swinging the kiln door open, setting newly crafted pieces inside, you realize the guild is a necessary companion, its embrace as conditional as it is nurturing. At times, you swing between despair at its throttling grasp and gratitude for its guiding influence, a dance both vital and stifling, composed of intricate steps as you navigate necessity and aspiration. Evening falls, and as you retire to your humble abode, you reflect on the trials and tribulations embodied by those two faces of the guild, the facilitator and the enforcer. Warmth courses through a mug of ale, and your fellow potters gather around, sharing morsels of gossip and tales of guild dealings, their voices blending into the cadence of camaraderie. Dreams drift into view, summoning whispers of pottery yet to be, of rules stretched just enough to accommodate art reimagined. In the shadowland between sleeping and waking, you imagine possibilities beyond borders, envisioning vibrant glazes and daring designs brought to light through perseverance and creative resolve. Within the embrace of dreams, hope flickers true, pierced momentarily by the jackboot of guild constraint. Yet somehow, amid it all, the flame remains unyielding, imbuing tomorrow with promise and a purpose anew. As the sun rises over the thatched roofs, painting the village in warm tones, you greet another day with the weight of both expectation and tradition. While your trade as a potter is demanding, it intertwines deeply with the fabric of the community, shaping not only clay but also your standing among your peers. Today, your mind turns to the dynamics of a potter's existence within the broader social hierarchy, delicate balance of respect, necessity, and sometimes overlooked toil. Stepping outside, you can almost feel the village's pulse, each heartbeat reverberating with the rhythm of daily life. The potter's role is a versatile one, stretching across numerous layers of society. Your creations travel far, from humble homes seeking functional wares to grander estates desiring elegancy and flair. While you may not rub shoulders with nobility, your work is a silent participant in many lives, leaving whispers of artistry wherever it travels. In this medieval tapestry, each artisan occupies a particular niche, potters being both humble and essential. There is a quiet pride in knowing your hands shape vessels that anchor daily routines and those sought for special occasions. However, the respect you garner is often disguised, hidden beneath the everyday mundanity of your craft. Pottery is vital, yet rarely sensationalized, a steady presence in an ever-evolving society. As you walk through the village, nodding at fellow craftsmen and townsfolk alike, you sense the invisible threads linking everyone in shared endeavor. There's the blacksmith, indispensable with his mastery of fire and metal, the weaver, spinning life into garments, the baker, whose loaves bring warmth to morning tables. Together, you form the backbone of daily life, a concert of skills pooling towards communal well-being. Yet, the potter holds a unique place, neither at the top nor bottom, but comfortably nestled somewhere amidst the artisanal hierarchy. A careful blending of persistence and skill ensures your place, though competition among artisans, even within your own trade, remains a veritable tightrope dance. These relationships fluctuate like seasons, from times of harmony to moments of stark rivalry, each day shaping a distinctive balance. It's not just the product, but the material you command that sews threads between you and your community. The pot is more than a vessel, it carries personal stories, memories etched into every crater and ridge. Your hands act as the bridge between earth and function, the vase holding wildflowers at the center of a Sunday meal, or the jug filled with golden ale shared among family and friends. It's through these silent companions that the potter's impact is subtly but surely felt. In the bustling market square, the traders know your name, perhaps not in porcelain respect, but as noteworthy amidst the cohort of local commerce. Even so, the tales they tell lack the shimmer reserved for a knight returning from conquest, or a scribe with tales of distant lands. Rather, your storyline is rooted, ever tangible, adorned with patterns of patient endeavor and overlooked nuances. Throughout history, pots tell endless stories. Some historians muse over their significance, arguing that pots preserved strands of unassuming culture, echoing threads across time. Each piece, an unspoken testimony to the resilience of common folk, those marked by clay under their nails and soot-kissed faces. By nightfall, under the soft glow of a hearth, your roles meld as seamlessly as the muscles in your hands. A figure both creator and provider, humble yet integral, whose quiet contributions stitch together the village. The connection, however subtle, shines through the touch of warm vessels, the laughter rising amid shared conversations, and the lingering scent of home-brewed stew served generously among friends. In the quiet hours, as you drift towards sleep, imagine a world sculpted by hands like yours, seasoned by the trials of fire and flame. Here, fragments of artistry interlace with daily rituals, crafting a legacy understood only through touch and time. While luxuries and glamour remain elusive, there lies an unspoken elegance in the potter's existence, an enduring quiet wisdom shared beneath the veil of everyday life. Tomorrow you will rise again, partaking in the invisible dance connecting artisans, and their creations a constant narrative unfolding in vignettes of clay. In dreams woven of glazed reflections and kiln flame embers, promise blossoms a signal that whispers echo through vessels, and the potter endures, tucked into the lifeblood of history. With the arrival of another day, you awake to the muted clamor of a village rousing itself to life under the shadow of distant hills. Despite the routine predictability of the potter's existence, an undercurrent of unease now threads through your thoughts, fueled by the ever-looming specter of something far more sinister plague. Unseen and unpredictable, it threatens the carefully balanced structure of medieval life, seeping into the very heart of community interactions. As you step outside, the cool morning air wraps around you, offering little comfort for the creeping anxiety that seems to have settled over the village like a mist. Whispers of outbreaks in neighboring towns float through the streets, carried by travelers who weave stories both factual and exaggerated. Each tale, whether exaggerated with mythology or rooted in some truth, remains a chilling reminder of how precarious survival becomes in these silent sieges. For the potter, these shadowed tales of pestilence cast a long echo over the market square. As you prepare for another day of trade, you can't help but notice subtle shifts, fewer patrons wandering between stalls, tentative conversations hanging in the air, eyes more wary with each passing glance. In times of plague, both commerce and social fabric fray, unraveling trust as fear grips the common tapestry of existence. The pottery you create, a staple in daily routines, now finds itself in the limelight of practicality over artistry. With normal rhythms disrupted, focus shifts. People seek the pragmatism of essential wares over the flamboyance of decorative pieces. Function towers above form, and every pot you produce might serve not just dinner, but the survival needs of a community bound by unease. Yet, even in such uncertain times, your craft provides solace reminder of human resilience. Each piece, shaped by skill and necessity, becomes a beacon of perseverance, finding its place on tables and hearths. While fear attempts to unseat sanity with whispers of death and despair, the warmth of a well-crafted pot holds firm as an anchor amidst the chaos. Historians still argue whether pottery, with its earthly permanence, became talismans of sorts during times of plague, a wielded weapon against invisibility, offering tangible comfort. For some, there's a silent kindness in the enduring nature of your craft, a quiet rebellion against the forces that threaten it. At the heart of the market, where livelihoods converged in delicate balance and chaos once reigned, new rules take root. Vendors, each living far away from the safety their wares might suggest, begin conducting transactions through measures of caution, talking over counters with invisible walls of separation. The once jovial hubbub of market life now carries an edge of urgency, where trade continues under the unyielding eye of uncertainty. As you peddle your wares, an impromptu camaraderie develops amongst you and fellow artisans. It becomes a practice of shared ritual, both commiseration and resilience. Silent cultural exchanges over common fears, perched between whispers of remedies and chewed rumors. Though bodies keep a welcome distance, a gentle kinship persists, held in lingering glances and the softness of muted words. Even as apprehension seeps into daily life, craftsmanship continues to bind the community, a testament to spirit, an invalidation of chaos. Each sound vessel, handled lovingly, emerges as a quiet anthem, echoing through dark times with presence. As artisans rise to meet life's endless challenges, they carry with them a torch of endurance, a voice composed of resolute whispers. And once the day's efforts settle into evening stillness, you join your kin by the hearth's glow, surrounded by familiar shadows that offer comfort. When night falls, your shared wisdom and laughter become the threads of resilience, chosen over defeat. Story after story, friends and family find solace in each other's company, strength in the warmth of shared breath. As slumber descends, you sense history's weighted thread unspool through time. Yours is a legacy composed of stories forged in clay, and dreams promise whispers of echoing triumph. As lids draw shut, you continue to hope perhaps one day an archaeologist will dig through centuries and find evidence of your courage baked into the earth, an unyielding reminder that for every shadow cast, the potter's light persisted, carrying onwards into time's embrace. As dawn breaks over the village, gilding rooftops and cobblestones with soft light, you awaken to the familiar yet oppressively present burden of medieval economics. The whispers of plague may ebb and flow with the passing days, but today your mind leans heavily toward another constant shadow, the relentless toll of taxes. Imposed by distant lords and local authorities alike, these levies chip away at your hard-earned earnings, a reality as grating as any stone against your pottery wheel. As a potter, every piece you mold must factor in the insidious bite of taxes. Unlike the mystery of a temperamental kiln, the chilling certainty of these demands weighs heavily. Whether in coins, time, or wares, Payments must be made to ensure peace or, at least, the illusion of stability. Your pockets, while not quite empty, never seem full enough to ease the weight of these obligations. You start the day by scanning the horizon, where the Lord's Manor looms distant, a constant reminder of your connection to the feudal system. There's an ironic comfort in its permanency, a landmark of power, but this is tempered by resentment for the duties it represents. Payments made in goods and currency trickle up, supporting not just the nobility but also the cavalcade of clerks and enforcers who ensure compliance. As you gather your wares for the market, a cycle of calculations churns in your mind. Each piece crafted needs to compensate for the labor and materials invested, but also for the toll extracted by tax collectors. This persistent reality informs your crafting decisions as much as any aesthetic consideration. The market, usual cacophony layered with winter's bite, unfolds with its own rhythm. Stalls brim with the offerings of artisans and farmers alike, each endeavoring to leave with pockets heavier than when they arrived. Faces familiar and new wander past, eyes darting over wares with knowing speculation. Subtle exchanges concerning rates and dues punctuate the otherwise light-armed negotiations, a quiet reflection of universal imbalance. You position your wares, greeting fellow artisans with friendly nods and mutual jokes, the well-worn armor against reminders of due dates. There's a communal understanding within these laughs, a resilient acknowledgement that the yoke of taxation is inescapable, yet they persevere, propelling pottery to popularity, allowing art to subtly express rebellion. Historians still argue whether these taxes, believed to fund the lion's share of defense or grand projects, truly bolstered societies or merely padded the coffers of indifferent rulers. Still, tangible exchanges were omnipresent, where every conversation woven into market life hung with imperceptible threads of tribute. At the end of a long day, however, it's not purely economic woes weighing on you. Connections you've made with neighbors and fellow potters offer consolation and strength, fortifying against systems and statistics few understood in their entirety. Together, you find moments of light-hearted rebellion, joking over suppers shared as twilight etches its mark on the village. As night wraps its comforting shroud around the village, you sift through the day's takings. The tactile clink of coins prompts a sigh reminder of obligations yet met, achievements measured not merely in pottery sold, but also in mutual understanding, with all gathered from this communal experience. Tomorrow promises excitement anew, festooned with artistry and adorned by dreamers' whispers. As you rest your weary form, you hold fast to the embrace of your family and friends, though unseen tolls hover in shadows. While your trade may not circumvent the age-old system of gives and takes, satisfaction arises from perseverance through each tax and levy. The potter remains steadfast, cupping dreams within hands, lined with both beads of sweat and whispers of destiny still shaping. The sun peeks timidly over the horizon, wrapping the village in a tender glow as you prepare for a journey that promises both opportunity and peril. Today, the path leads beyond familiar streets to embrace the broader tapestry of medieval trade, venturing forth into lands tread by countless feet before yours. As a potter, these trips are an occasionally necessary dance with fortune, trading the security of known markets for the allure and risk of distant fairs. Loading your cart with pottery, carefully cocooned in straw, you set out with a heart willing to navigate unknown terrains. These trips, anticipated with equal parts apprehension and excitement, are conspicuous in their unpredictability. Bands of travelers, each muddling through their respective rites of passage, share the road peddlers hawking potions, entertainers seeking crowds, and occasionally merchants of far grander designs. The road stretches ahead, a lonesome ribbon that unspools through realms of woodland shade and open meadow. Travel seldom comes with the gentle embrace of convenience in these times. Rather, it bears the weight of challenges, unforeseen, trials of both the physical and emotional kind that flank your every move. You're keenly aware of the risks bandits lurking in the tree lines, fickle weather threatening supplies, and pathways too often unmarked. Historians still debate whether the stories of robbers in the dense forests are more folklore than reality, yet the threat, whether imagined or real, tempers every step with vigilance. However, these journeys are vital a thread through which distant artisans and local craftspeople weave communities bound by trade. Each fair and market a knot in the wider economic net. Along the way, fellow travelers cross your path, tiny, transient communities formed around shared adversity and aspiration. Friendships blossom amidst shared tales coaxed from the night fires, bonds as ephemeral as firelight yet ever warming. You swap stories with a falconer heading to the same fair, tales of distant wins and exploits past. These conversational diversions provide moments of levity against the heft of the journey. The first light of dawn ushering you forward, you discover the rhythm of the road, a cadence both harsh and gentle, dictated by your footsteps or the rocking sway of cart wheels. Despite its challenges, travel offers perspectives and colors from corners of the world beyond the village's bounded embrace. Each horizon reveals vistas simultaneously alien and inviting. You arrive at the fair, a vibrant whirlwind of noise and color. Ludicrously bustling, it pulses with life as vendors set up stalls. Hawkers vie for attention, and children's laughter echoes above the ruckus. The air is alive with a confluence of dialects, a symphony unmatched, connecting this microcosm to the grand moire of medieval Europe. Stepping into this world, you cast hopeful eyes over prospective patrons yet unknown. Positioning your stall among others, you feel the competitive hum simmering beneath the jovial exterior. Like the traders around you, the selling day is both a skill and a strategic game. Amidst the back and forth of bartering, unwrapping and showcasing pottery becomes a performative teach piece, as much a work of art as a utilitarian solution to everyday needs. As beams of sunrise peak and sink into the horizon's expanse, fleeting friendships at the fair evoke a tapestry woven from chance encounters and shared experiences. There are jovial exchanges with a silversmith, whose trinkets catch the morning light just as your pottery absorbs its warmth. Faces unfamiliar become etched with time, threaded invisibly into your memories. And as the fair closes, you return to the road, cart noticeably lighter from successful trades. Coins jingle with reassuring weight, filling bags that bear nostalgic reminders of dreams realized, momentarily unfettered. The alluring melody of looked-for wealth morphs into tangible retrospect to market day, successfully navigated through mutual enterprise and shared stories. Night envelops the road home, a solemn partner accompanying you back through sights unseen, under the infinite ceiling of twinkling stardust and silvery moonlight. Each milestone reached offers promise for tomorrow's uncharted, a kiln ever waiting at journey's end to serve as sanctuary and fresh challenge. Rest now, for while your travels demonstrate varied trials, triumph remains underpinned by skill, community, and the intangible chords of memory. Each journey embraces a potter's duality, both tale and traveler intertwined, cornerstones merged into life's tapestry, directing dreams anew beneath night's profound canopy. The road, wherever it leads, meanders ever onward. The twilight mist lingers in the air as you prepare to dive once more into the labyrinthine mystery of the medieval marketplace. While your cart is laden with freshly crafted pottery, today's focus lands not just on selling wares, but on understanding the peculiar customs and intrigues that define trading in such times. Each market offers not only commerce, but an expression of the era's idiosyncrasy, a space where everyday life and the fantastical meet. Setting up your stall in a prime location is a delicate art. Early risers scurry back and forth, establishing their own niches in the sprawl of vendors that unfurl like patchwork across the square. You watch the colorful spectacle unfold, a sensory tapestry that engages passers-by with lively banter, fragrant wafts of cooking, and the dramatic pitches of rival sellers. Here, the familiar sounds of the market are punctuated by its lesser-known rituals. Among the strangest of these practices is the age-old tradition of bartering not just in coins but in objects and services, a Byzantine exchange system that might see a pot swapped for a bundle of furs or a promise of future labor. The prosperity of the day is often tied to both shrewdness and leniency, making each transaction uniquely personal. As customers wander in and out of stalls, the atmosphere brims with possibility. While most approach you looking for utility pots destined to cradle tonight's stew or jugs to spill morning milk, others arrive, seeking curiosities drawn inexorably toward the whimsical, adorned creations that express both a potter's imagination and the market's eclecticism. Loose tongues carry whispers of merchants selling enchanted ware stones alleged to harbor protection, or vibrant fabrics rumored to bestow charisma. The authenticity of such claims is anyone's guess. Yet the allure of mystery captivates patrons and traders alike. A knowing glance here, a raised eyebrow there, and an unspoken pact completes the cycle transient belief buys into eternal dreams. Conversations swirl about remedies for health, each pot suggesting a different cure channeling arcane wisdom, deftly spoken by local herbalists or itinerant apothecaries peddling their potions. Whether of genuine concern or mere superstition, each idea fuels the market's pulsy reminder that knowledge and mystery are constant trading partners. The marketplace is further animated by the presence of traveling performers, whose odd tricks and songs cast a beguiling spell over onlookers. Their laughter and music blend seamlessly with the clamor of haggling, each painted face and outlandish costume adding an exotic flair to the proceedings. Tourist, trader, and townsfolk alike join in the revelry, uniting in a colorful masque staged under the weary sun. Yet within this kaleidoscope lie deeper mysterious codified customs that only the entrenched know. The practice of touching wood, a protective incantation enacted by traders to ward off bad luck, is quintessential among loose bartering. Expressions distilled over time persist, staining every action with the sincerity of the unseen. Historians delve deeper into such phenomena, arguing the symbolism versus superstition in these acts of resilience, drawn forth from cultural wellsprings fierce as fire. Skeptics find no sufficient evidence for mystical efficacy, whereas believers stand firm in their conviction regarding everyday miracles. Fashion might now circle back, displaying the eternal wheel-each shift in sartorial elegance, taking newer pretexts from forgotten tales. The market's services, whether by choice or necessity, become a time capsule of humanity's eccentric dance. By the end of the day, as the remaining sunlight dips behind the horizon, your heart feels lightened by the kaleidoscopic whirlwind of activity. You pack up wares unsold, contemplating the myriad lives and stories stitched together within this vibrant, expansive, perpetual fountain where the exotic and elemental mingle. The camaraderie of fellow traders, the spirited barristers of legend and folklore, fade like twilight on a settling tide. As you wend your way homeward, your thoughts linger on tokens acquired through silent exchanges, a seashell gift, the echo of a summer tune, a smile echoed within burdens shared. With night's silent embrace endowed with mystery itself, you retire with imagination's curtains drawn wider, haven within tactile comforts as day's stories cradle sleep, all part of the tapestry unraveled, each thread divined through the passage of timey, gentle chorus amid interwoven worlds. When dreams whisper yet unseen, the marketplace opens a newer kingdom of margins, painted in resplendent husa land that beckons, draws near, drapes magic and memory over forgotten shadows. Your vision holds fast to its gentle rhythm, crafting creations touched by the enduring hands of time, feeling both eternal and immediate, imbued with the enchantment of the seeker's world. As the first rays of daylight stretch across the village, painting everything in hues of gold and amber, you find yourself wandering the familiar paths guided by an undercurrent of mysticism, superstitions, and strange beliefs that thread through the daily tapestry of your life as a medieval potter. In a world driven as much by unseen forces as by tangible reality, it is impossible to ignore the subtle influences these beliefs have on your craft and your interactions with the world around you. As you step inside your workshop, the air still holds a tinge of coolness that dances around like whispers of enchantment, lacing every crevice. The lingering aroma of recently fired earthenware mixes with the dusty incense from the smouldering herbs you've hung by the dooran, incantation whispered by generations who sought to keep their creations free from ill luck. Here, superstition is woven into the very fabric of your trade. There is comfort in tradition, and like others before you follow the rituals with bemused adherence. Before the wheel begins its rhythmic dance, you touch a piece of wood in a small act of protective magic, ensuring misfortune stays at buyer customs as deeply ingrained as the clay you knead beneath your fingers. These beliefs, despite modern skepticism, hold sway over the everyday, each subject to interpretation, molded as uniquely as the pots you craft. Historians still debate whether these conventions arose from practical wisdom or if they're the constructs of imaginative minds, eager to ascribe mystery to mundane foibles. Regardless, such practices form a hidden tapestry beneath the visible weave of life, one every artisan knows by instinct. As the day unfolds, stories and beliefs begin to surface, echoing life lived in symbiosis with the untamed natural world. A passing neighbor pauses to recount tales of clay that becomes unmanageable under a full moon. Beware, he warns half-jokingly, of the moon's capricious touch leading hands astray. Even the way you gather raw materials isn't immune from mysticism. The edge of village where your clay lies buried, if harvested under certain moon phases, is reputed to yield more potent vessels, resistant to shattering under the kiln's searing judgment. Whether truth or fancy, such beliefs root themselves in collective memory, the soil from which entire ways of life blossom and endure. Perhaps one of the most light-hearted yet common customs is the leaving of a small offering by the kiln. After witnessing wares disappear into the fire, distinct in its creative cruelty, why take chances? A tiny sacrificia flower, a sliver of bread dough, appease spirits who watch over your creation's trial by fire. From fellow potters, shared chuckles drift about forgotten trinkets revived, from folk remedies to whispers carried over life's genius brew. In the marketplace, superstitions paint a world of hesitant trust. Custom might dictate currency luck, where exchanging something before buying ensures prosperity, a charmed lot of economies, tucking whimsical charms imaginatively betwixt commerce's folds. Here, attics entwine art with wisdom, tenets spoken low in ritualistic cadence amid hectic exchanges. Yet these beliefs, far from being pure folly, often belied practical guides. In Saunders' shade, fresh clay revealed footprints to watch and learn by the wisdom of elders' warnings honed through countless winters. But while life may orbit the pivotal axiom of superstition, there exists a relevance uplifting even the most skeptical potter's heart. The tale's longevity passed through hands much like earth molded, imagination's reverie dances alongside realness, a reflection of survival where the line blurs between pragmatic truth and creative art. As galaxies paint themselves within darkening skies, stains withdraw under yawning voids. The no's, perchance, are not what one supposes. The heart places kindness within provenance's memory, wrapping doubts in intrinsic charms, a weave of resilience and imagination astride time's mystic realms, pegging charms within clay-turned pot of secret storytelling peering through dreams. And so, with the soft glow of moonlight wreathing the edge of slumber, whispers of promise, persist a hint of enchantment, gracefully mingling with wisdom, attained from lives led close to earth's quiet gifts. The pot's glaze might hold stories in silent testamenta, reminder that truth weaves through reflections cast among shadows, honoring ancient continuity where biscuit fires weave ever on. As the first light of dawn gently caresses the village rooftops, you awaken to the sounds of life stirring around you, to symphony played out by generations, skilled in the delicate art of survival. Today, your mind turns inward to the ties that bind the heart, the familial bonds that serve as the cornerstone of your existence as a medieval potter. In this close-knit community, family is both a blessing and a burden, an intricate network of support and responsibility woven into every aspect of your trade. As you go about your morning rituals, the familiar creaks and groans of the house wrap around you like a well-worn cloak. Each member of your household plays a role in the daily dance, standing as both witness and participant in the drama of craft and commerce. You share your humble abode with your spouse, your children, and perhaps an elder whose wisdom permeates your days like the rich aroma of freshly baked bread. Every morning begins with shared chores, laughter echoing alongside the crackle of the fire as the family prepares to face the day. The burgeoning light reveals the simple beauty of your home, where objects crafted by your own hands serve not only practical purpose, but as tokens of familial love and heritage. Historians still argue whether such strong family ties resulted from mere necessity, or if they were forged by deeper bonds of collective experience and shared dreams. Whatever the reason, the cooperation within medieval families stands as a testament to human resilience and adaptability. Today, like any other, The wheel awaits, but not alone. Younger hands may join in the work, eager to learn, to spin tales as they spin clay into being. Apprentices are often selected from family, as tradition dictates, each learning beside you with growing curiosity. With each turn of the wheel, knowledge transfers not only from mouth to ear, but from heart to hand, ensuring the craft endures through countless generations. Around midday, voices rise lively with chatter during the meal, a pause in joyous togetherness. Delectable stews simmer over the hearth, bordered by sounds of contentment as spoons carve pathways through hearty fare. The meal represents shared heritage as much as sustenance, each bite savoured with gratitude for company enjoyed as well as nourishment provided. Rituals seep through every memento parent, saving the crisp crust for an enthused child. A grandparent sharing stories between mouthfuls about far-off fares long past. But family is more than tradition. It's necessity in times of plague, taxes or trade, in joys taken and sorrows shared. Relatives become collaborators through rain-soaked fields and keyline-pounded studios. They are pillars resilient with clay-spackled, weary resolve, standing amid trials, lending shoulders, keeping one another steady. It's the work of keening rhythms, where focus aligns with laughter within life's eternal crafts. At the heart of this familial tapestry lies a compassionate understanding, woven in moments of both exhilaration and struggle. Nearest kin become mirrors, reflecting each other's strengths, beauty found even in imperfection. The peerless journey taken together infuses the very pottery you craft, with meaning the curve of a pot resembling a mother's embrace, the glaze echoing a father's wisdom. As evening draws near, the day unwinds with gentle fervor. Amid the soft murmurs of siblings sharing moonlit tales to grandparents crafting vivid lessons, your family becomes, metaphorically, a vessel that holds dreams, nurtures promises, witness to the dovetailed delicacy of life woven through tender hands. You lay aside today's trials and triumphs, gathered within the folds of family bonds as cheer wicks the night. Through the dim glow, you revel in the knowledge that your journey is not taken alone. Here, within these loving confines, exists sustenance and solacea shared reality, promising a new tomorrow, resilient against an uncertain world. With nightfall, you dream of vessels yet to be, of clay-bound memories ever tethered to the perpetual kiln of time. Held within those dreams are whispers of gentle truths, murmured by the heart, kept steady through familial love. As dreams enfold, the world remains gilded in kinshipper, ribbon of unity, knotted through epochs, curling tenderly into the timeless clay. As the village bathes in the gentle light of a new dawn, the preparation of your stall begins, punctuated by the occasional songbird heralding the arrival of yet another bustling market day. But today, your thoughts drift toward the peculiarities of human nature. Quirky customers, and their odd complaints a staple of life in the medieval marketplace. It's a whimsical phenomenon, where unfathomable requests and amusing misunderstandings often add layers to your daily routine. With your cart laden with ceramics carefully nestled in straw, you make your way towards the market square, embraced once again by the vibrant cacophony of traders and patrons. Each face in the crowd tells a story, and today you're reminded that the interactions at your stall offer as much comedy and drama as any theatre performance. You arrange your pottery with meticulous care, ensuring each piece is showcased to its best advantage, ready to meet its new owner. The market opens like a blossom greeting the sun, inviting customers to wander amidst the expanse of stalls overflowing with handmade goods. Here, amid the daily hustle, you learn that each visitor arrives with a mind teeming with specific ideas, peculiar needs, and, more often than not, expectations shrouded in the unusual. It's a rare day that doesn't reveal at least one customer who transforms an ordinary transaction into an extraordinary event. Your first customers are a trio of women with a keen interest in the glazes you've used. One of them, her eyes twinkling with curiosity, inquires whether the swirling pattern on a jug was inspired by the legendary Lake Fairwater, famous for its mirrored surface and otherworldly reflections. "Would this jug capture the same essence in my tea?" she asks, quite earnestly. A chuckle escapes your lips before you kindly explain that while inspired by nature, the jug's aesthetics remain firmly grounded in artistry, though you humorously add, It might give the tea an extra touch of elegance. Later, a burly merchant with hands like shovels picks up one of your more delicate vases and begins to tap on it, listening closely as though assessing the musical notes within its clayey walls. You watch with masked horror as he finally taps too hard, chips the rim, and laments, "I was sure it would sing." With a forced smile, you exchange the chipped piece for another, your reassurance offering that perhaps the vase wasn't in the mood to perform today, jest that elicits his good-natured laugh at the simple quirks of life. Such exchanges often reveal more than just the charm of trade, but stand as reminders of humanity's never-ending quest to imbue the mundane with magic. The mystical and mysterious allure patrons toward relics of lifereliant on craftsmanship to transform utility into narrative. Historians still argue whether these interactions impacted medieval trade significantly or served as mere embellishments in the tapestry of market life. Yet, as you stand amidst this echo of voices, each holds a charm of distinct character, weaving together humor and practicality into the fabric of commerce. As the day progresses, your stall becomes the backdrop for a variety of entertaining performances. There's the fastidious gentleman who debates the merits of a bowl based solely on how it whispers his family's name when filled with wine, and the mother who insists that a jug must be tested for its child resistance by purposefully attempting to topple it from the edge of the Stalin impromptu, show that endears and astonishes. Still, each quirk and complaint, each jest and query, serve more than just a fleeting role in daily life. They symbolize how the potter's craft extends beyond clay, becoming a conduit for community connection and understanding. Amid laughter and commiserations, reflections shared between artisan and buyer expand, transforming transactions into exchanges of sentiment and shared experience. Finally, as evening casts long shadows over the marketplace, the crowd begins to thin. Today's events linger in your mind, leaving a trail of anecdotes to share over dinner or by the fireside with family. Coins jingle loyally in your pouch, promising sustenance, while your heart treasures the stories gain tales to be told and retold, gaining an added flourish with each recitation. With the last of your pottery packed, you start the journey home, hands relaxed and heart full, laughing underneath the steady gaze of twilight. As you recline into the quiet glow of your hearth, you recognize that the quaint desires and eccentric demands of your patrons form an indelible bond weaved intricately into medieval life, a lively testament to a potter's integral role in shaping both the tangible and the fanciful. In the shadows of your dreams, pottery takes on liquid forms, entwined with whimsical soundsa, lullaby of clinking clay, whispering softly to the night. Like the back and forth of humorous banter exchanged in truth, your journey continues, clad in comedy and reflection, boundless in stories awaiting their turn to spin upon the wheel of life. The first light of morning breathes its gentle glow across the village, casting everything in a warm embrace that promises both challenges and triumphs. Today, your thoughts dance around the seasonal pulse that dictates the rhythm of a potter's life, the delicate interplay between nature's crescendo and the fruits of your labor. For artisans like yourself, few things exert more influence over your craft than the changing seasons, each bringing its own struggles and successes. As you rise, your mind dwells on the promise and unpredictability held by the elements and their shifting mood. Each season gifts both the raw materials you mold and the fleeting conditions you battle, shaping your routines, but also enhancing the richness of your experience. No season is without its pitfalls or blessings. No pot emerges unscathed from this perpetual cycle of life shaped by nature's hand. With spring on the horizon, you welcome the earth's gentle thaw relief, after the frigid grasp of winter held the land in stasis. Now, the softening soil offers the raw clay that you'd struggled to extract from winter's icy grip, presenting malleability and potential. The air holds a promise of growth, the harmonized song of birds under the rising sun, delivering a serenade of renewal to complement your own visions of creation. With each season comes not only a shift in materials but also in market demand. Spring carries with it the allure of new beginnings, drawing patrons to seek vessels that reflect this vibrant cyfloral motifs or colors that mimic the earth's unfurling blossoms. But spring also brings rains that can delay clay gathering, its mucky embrace both a friend and adversary, depending on nature's whim. Summer, too, provides its own ebb and flower balance where the long days offer ample light for crafting and market hours. Yet the summer kiln burns hotter, requiring careful attention to prevent wares from cracking under the scorching heat. You find yourself constantly assessing the dance of temperature and time, an intricate ballet performed in harmony with the elements. Autumn arrives carrying with it the sweet melancholy of golden leaves and dwindling warmth, a rich season for harvest, but also a time to prepare for the harsher months ahead. Pots take on deeper, earthier tones, as if absorbing the very essence of the turning season. Historians still argue whether autumn's harvest pot had a lasting influence on storage methods, but the potter knows it offers flavors both practical and poetic. Winter's stark embrace brings with it challenges both unique and familiar. The earth hardens under frost, and keeping kiln fires lit becomes a crucial daily battle, underscored by shadowed half-light. The cold seeks to be both enemy and muse, urging you to craft thicker, warming vessels to cradle stews and heat, while simultaneously threatening to halt clay's malleable harmony. As you settle into your work, each piece seems to form a marriage with its respective season, intimately linked to the artistry born from necessity. Here, waiting emerges conversations with fellow potters who, like you, navigate each shift with a cautious grace born from instinct and adaptation. Quiet jokes abound over mugs of warm ale, shared tales of near disaster tempered by the cold, replaced by memories of cool spring breezes, teasing rims, and fresh green glazes. In the marketplace, stalls fill with life, a microcosm of the season's bounty, as vibrant as the world itself flowering around you. The air buzzes with the transforming chorus of patchwork voices, each bound to the pulsation of seasons personified, as both stage and score for the quotidian theatre acted upon its ancient boards. As the day warms and the sun crosses its zenith, you reflect on how seasons shape so much more than just pottery. They spell the weave wherein your entire world is knitted, strings pulled by the hands of time and natural rapport. Your emergence into life's alignments serves dual purpose, an invisible pact worn with weather's paint on your accomplished skin. With evening shadows lengthening behind you, heralding a cool respite, you load unsold wares, but carry lessons learned. These are the stories of clay, as sculpted not solely by hands, but by the world around the massonette of earth and sky, a symphony to which your heart beats in time. Tucked beneath the familiar caress of your roof and the warmth of shared hearthlight, you rest once more, the rise and fall of seasonal stories promising continued tales yet glimpsed. In dreams, kilns pulse with ethereal fires. Lapping warmth whispers softly of transformation, a reminder of the world's wonder always, and of tomorrow's new possibilities cradled within each unique hand-formed piece. Beneath the veil of night's starlit grandeur, echoes of change intertwine with tradition, singing sweeter through the touch of clay, a timeless melody murmuring hope, spun around the spirals of another season's journey. With the break of day casting its inviting glow over the village, you arise to the familiar clamor of daily life, a blend of awakening sounds that promise the steadfast certainty of yet another day at the potter's wheel. As preparations commence, your thoughts dwell upon the pockets of joy nestled within the relentless rhythm of work. Amid the endless cycle of toil, even a medieval potter discovers moments of mirth amidst the monotony. As you begin your routine, the sensation of clay beneath your fingers becomes less a mere task and more a type of comforting familiarity, a tactile lullaby sung from time long past. The gentle hum of the wheel accompanies the melody played by your hands as they shape the earth into market-ready masterpieces. Yet, even in this repetitive journey, you find untapped opportunities for lightness and laughter. In truth, humor is your hidden ally, an antidote to the weariness that often creeps unbidden into the palm lines of daily drudgery. Whether it be the flirtatious banter exchanged with the neighboring blacksmith, or the jovial taunts volleyed toward the baker whose bread smells perennially irresistible, the community that wraps you in its gentle embrace relieves toil's somber weight through jovial balm. Your fellow artisans, potters weaving their stories into vessels echoing their narratives, become an essential tapestry in your web of shared camaraderie. Gentle jokes float around like summer's seeds, coupling mirth with practical wisdom. Take heed, nudges a friend, lest your pots become as misshapen as young John's first attempt at wooing. Broader laughter rises from this community of creators, bonding friends over shared endeavors, failures, and successes. Historians still argue whether medieval humor was identical to our own, but the feeling of shared levity resonates beyond time, capturing moments like clay caught in flux, songs sung for kin amid trials endured for prosperity. It's evident in the lighter step of market-goers, appreciating the ordinary mirth that transforms tasks from burdens into celebrations of community spirit. The midday meal offers another spell of joy, where crates turned into tables brim with bread, fruits, and cheese donated by friendly traders, fostering a sense of togetherness nourished by kindness. You sit alongside fellow vendors, trading stories some truthful, others a delightful flight of fancy and opportunity to escape life's constraints, if only for an hour. But beyond incidental humor lies the deeper solace, found in life's cyclical nature, the reassuring repetition that grounds your craft, as predictable as your town's seasons, equal parts challenge and comfort. It is in the simple satisfaction of a pot well crafted, the warm glow of Kiln-fired colors and spirals, each creation offering a new horizon of wondrous potential. As afternoon fades into evening, you partake in simple rituals shared when work ebbs away. Lively taverns glow beneath the setting sun, pulling in artisans and patrons alike, sharing laughter over ale. It's in these humble spaces that mirth finds new, energy-ludicrous tales flourishing over ale-swilled jests, friendly competitions of song, and dance springing forth in unforeseen abandon. As you make your way home, the stars emerge like glittering fragments left by departing daylight. Wrapped in night's embrace, you consider the day's narrative embroidered with gratitude, a tapestry woven from shared community, rejoicing amid life's inevitable cycles. Finally, perched before the hearth surging with welcoming warmth, you reflect on how simple joys weave themselves into the fabric of daily toil. Family surrounds you, the laughter lingering like a delicious echo. Light-hearted banter carries away remnants of fatigue, stringing its own melody amid deeper tonus, a harmonious lull that sings whimsically into the late hours. Cradled by dreams and the promise of tomorrow's horizon unfolding, you drift into slumber. With a smile etched into softened lines, you bask in a timeless village's tireless heartbeat, a harbour, nestled within the warmth of fire's timeless kiln, stoking tales of gentle mirth, resonating forth through dawn and dusk, ever spiraling on. As dawn heralds the arrival of another day, you find yourself swept up in the excitement of an impending event that breaks the routine of village life, a massive medieval trade fair. The anticipation creates an electric buzz throughout the village, and your heart swells with the prospect of new faces, novel ideas, and of course, the promise of bustling commerce. This convergence of merchants and villagers, knights and vagabonds, craftspeople and entertainers, embodies the essence of this grand spectacle. Today begins long before the sun peaks over the horizon, your preparations imbued with both a sense of urgency and palpable excitement. Every pot is meticulously inspected, polished, and carefully packed into your cart to ensure it captivates potential buyers. The air is cooler in these early hours, the promise of adventure swirling like the mist rising from the fields. The journey to the fair is not solitary. Just as the seasons bring change, so too do such fairs breathe life into stalwart routines. You join a procession of travelers, chattering above the din of rolling cartwheels and stomping horse hooves. Every participant, whether craftsman or farmer, noble or peasant, is drawn along the same path, each burdened with their unique collection of goods, hopes, and dreams. As you arrive, the fair spreads out before you like a sprawling tapestry painted with colors and sounds. Tents and stalls burst forth in a kaleidoscope of activity as the grounds rapidly transform into a temporary city filled with wares and wonders. Pipers and jongleurs roam the aisles, their music harmonizing with the rhythm of clinking coins and the vibrant buzz of bartering voices. Your stall finds its place among countless others, each offering a captivating glimpse into the lives of those who created the goods therein. The jugs, bowls, and plates that you display carry with them not just form and function, but a story, a vivid narrative shaped by your hands and the spirit of the times. Historians still debate the extent to which fairs like these fostered the economic growth of medieval societies, but their significance is undeniable. Here, goods swapped hands, ideas intermingled, and communities flourished, even if only for a short while. The fair is not just a marketplace. It's a melting pot of culture and tradition, a stage upon which the world performs. Encounters at the fair take on a new meaning. The mingling of people from disparate regions creates an atmosphere of both camaraderie and competition, a delicate dance of alliances, rivalries, and friendships. You find yourself making connections with fellow potters and traders, swapping tales of triumphs and market mishaps, absorbing the shared wisdom of those treading the same creative and entrepreneurial paths. The air hums with conversations spoken in tongues both foreign and familiar. Each transaction feels electric, each negotiation a tango of wits, where humor glides alongside serious intent as merchants and patrons navigate the intricate ballet of commerce. Within this vibrant setting, you find not only customers but kindred spirits, united by the heat of commerce and the spark of creativity. Fairgoers walk a line between myth and reality, entertained by acts bordering on the fantastical. There's the transient presence of fire-breathers and contortionists, each performance adding layers of enchantment and whimsy. Even the rogues and jesters play their part, drawing crowds with equal measures of amusement and wariness. Evening casts a golden glow across the bustling scene, dappling the fair with shadows that stretch across brightly coloured tents. As stars begin to sprinkle the night sky, lamps and torchlight replace the sun's glow, creating a flickering tapestry of light reflected upon faces turned toward entertainment and exchange. With the day's dealings drawing to a close, and fortunate with the weight of coins in your purse, gratitude punctuates your exhaustion. The fair, this annual harbinger of joy and prosperity, breathes life into every participant gathered within its expansive embrace. As you retire to a warm corner between the stalls, invigorated by the day's events, you reflect on the rich exchange of culture and camaraderie that has transpired. Tales spun throughout the day warm the chill of night and fuel the dreams that wrap you in a blanket of satisfaction. Lulled by the gentle lullaby of the fair's distant revelry, you find solace in slumber, the comforting hum of memories past and plans future threading their way into your dreams. With each step taken and trade made, you become woven deeper into the fabric of history, the threads not just in clay, but rich in the narratives forged across these winding paths. The fair is ephemeral, yet its impact is lasting, a beacon of medieval life that binds you to the timeless dance of commerce, creativity, and community. Wrapped in the quiet embrace of the night, you rest with contentment, knowing that, come dawn, the adventure will continue anew, the cycle unbroken, the journey ever alive. The sun rises over the horizon with a soft glow, ushering another day into the folds of medieval life. Today, as you prepare yourself for the potter's duties, your thoughts linger on the legal intricacies that weave through your craft. The law isn't just a guide, it's both a guardian and a jailer, a pervasive presence in the trade of pottery that alternately offers protection and imposes limitations. In the medieval village, the law affects every facet of life, and for artisans, it holds particular significance. As a potter, you must navigate this landscape with a vigilant mind, balancing creative impulse with the constraints of legality. The guild, powerful in its scope, offers structure but demands compliance, enforcing standards intended to ensure fairness and quality across the craft. Legal stipulations guide the composition and creation of every pot, jug, and bowl from the clay's source to the glaze applied to the finished product. Ensuring adherence lies not only in mastery of the wheel but in the ability to interpret these intricacies and abide by them. It is a mantle worn as much by necessity as by tradition, each layer shaped by the weight of history and an understanding of regulations. As you ready your wares for the day, you consider the licenses and fees that underpin each trade, an economic undercurrent that places a tangible price on artistry. The taxes must be meticulously calculated, fair and interpreted with precision that parallels the artistry embedded in your creations. There is comfort in knowing that these laws ensure a level playing field in the marketplace, even when they seem to constrict as much as they protect. In the lively hum of the market, you reflect on how laws act as both fences and bridges, a paradox you must navigate. Historians still argue whether medieval laws acted primarily as protectors of quality or dampeners of innovation, but you know they walk a line between maintaining order and fostering the tradition upon which communities are built. The market holds testament to this delicate dance, where artisans and vendors come to the fore, displaying their mastery within the bounds of legal parameters. Vendors whisper among themselves an ongoing symphony of bartering, accompanied by the undercurrents of regulation or rumors of favoritism in guild decrees. Your interactions reflect the necessity of legal knowledge. You engage your patrons with both skill and awareness, knowing which wares can be traded at home and which must adhere to the mandates issued by trade councils in distant lands. Every conversation carries an unspoken acknowledgement of the rules everyone must adhere to, an understanding lightly sketched on each animated exchange. Occasionally, a mischievous trader flits through the crowd, flaunting rumors of new techniques designed to skirt the law's keen eye. These tales stir curiosity and invite humor-laden skepticism among the gathered artisans. Craftsmanship can't be contained within ink and ordnance, jests a fellow potter, prompting shared smiles among those who dare stretch but not sever tradition's bonds. Each ingenuity challenges and plays with boundaries, a creative process echoing a wider narrative where laws remain elastic while respecting tradition. Your stall displays skillful pieces standing testament to this balanced dance, where design and compliance coexist. Come midday, a welcome meal provides solace, a restorative pause shared with fellow traders at makeshift tables in the market's heart. Amidst bites and banter, patrons recount favored deals, fueling the communal spirit of enterprise tempered by understanding. The laws guide tendencies like gentle shepherds stewarding their flock, pointing toward prosperity through shared comprehension. As the market's pace ebbs into evening, you pack your wares, the nuances of law living in your bones, guiding the dance you've performed all days. The partnership as seamless as it is intricate. There are moments, standing in winding lines or adjusting your display, where you dream of a world softened by fewer constraints, unchanged except in liberty. Returning homeward beneath the gathering stars, you rest in the knowledge that while rules anchor creativity, they also elevate the craft, lending structure to artistry's flight. It's a delicate tightrope, balanced breath by breath, guiding you through the complexities of medieval life, while nurturing the flame of possibility, glowing eternally just beyond reach. As the evening closes around you and the village quiets, you find solace in routine, the predictability of regulations framing your day and allowing for growth within familiar boundaries. Tucking dreams and aspirations into the quilt of your heart, you close your eyes as plans stretch toward the promise of sunrise, forever charting paths across heartlands yet untraveled. The dawn brings with it a gentle whisper of possibilities, its light painting the village in shades of amber and gold. Today, amidst the daily dance of potter's duties, your heart turns towards the little luxuries, the rare moments of indulgence that offer respite from routine. These are the treasures tucked into the pocket of everyday life that transform simple existence into something richer, bound by the warmth of community and care. As you bustle around the workshop, the familiar scent of clay mingling with the freshness of the morning air, you ponder the small joys that punctuate your days. In a world where each item is painstakingly crafted by hand, every piece of finely woven fabric, every sip of good ale, or taste of sweetened bread, is a treat savored with appreciation as deep as it is enduring. Today, you permit yourself a brief step away from the wheel to celebrate the fruits of labor shared. You pack a modest parcel into your cart, a tiny collection of trades and barters exchanged with friends and fellow artisans. The market, usually a whirlwind of buying and selling, today becomes a refuge for gathering treasured moments. Strolling between stalls, you inhale deeply the fragrant allure of spices newly traded from distant lands, their aromatic tendrils inviting dreams of far-off places unknown. The jingle of coins is but a gentle backdrop to the symphony of textures and colors, spilling forth a sumptuous feast for senses eager to indulge. A fellow artisan greets you with a knowing smile, sharing a precious sample of imported fabrics finely woven and vibrant, not unlike the art you shape from clay. These are goods that speak to imagination's finery, a fleeting touch transforming casual mirth into visions of elegance worn even after nightfall. Historians still argue over the extent to which luxuries influenced medieval life, whether they hinted at changing tides or merely enhanced existing bonds. From your perspective, a single indulgence offers more than mere physical pleasure. It serves to remind one that beyond necessity lies possibility, a canvas painted by dreams realized through the countless and varied efforts of skilled hands. Your journey continues through the marketplace as you pause, entranced by the sweet aroma of freshly baked pastries wafting through the air. Gilded with honey and scribed with nuts, they offer a treat too tempting to resist. With a charming smile, the baker presses a sample into your hand, the taste transporting you from the constraints of to-do lists to a place where time is measured in moments, not hours. Laughter and shared stories drift like sea-tossed boats over chaliced shores, the artisan's art of camaraderie, reflecting in traded glance and nods. These simple luxuries, when shared, knit tighter the bonds of community, drawing reminders of friendship into ever-present now. It's a dance with human spirit, a symphony scored by shared delight and gentle kindness. As afternoon light fades toward evening, you venture to the village green, joining a gathering of friends and neighbors reveling in shared stories and song. Here, the little luxurious songs sung and stories' spunkery echoes extending far beyond the boundaries of daylight, aglow with the warmth of common belonging. Such moments cherish the art of whimsy, elevating even the ordinary to the sublime through eyes attuned to sweetness beneath routine. Candles flicker and dance in rhythm with shared laughter as conversations stretch far into the evening, igniting each corner of life's held embrace. Returning home under a sky awash with stars, serenity wraps around you like a favorite blanket, tended by the kindness of small things. These cherished instants, stitched within the fabric of memory, remind you of life's enduring richness, a treasure whispered silently into the ears of time. With night enfolding all within its shadowed secrets, poetic and comforting, you drift to realms captivatingly woven lucid dreams, whispering echoes of little luxuries gone yet treasured, gifted to the threads of a life well lived. The soft cadence of your heart beats to the rhythm of simple plans, sculpted candles flickering hours, cups raised in far-off toasts, an ever-present celebration of medieval elegant simplicity, splendors cherished adrift in eternal waters, hues ever fleeting, gracing tomorrow's awakening, a tiny vessel carrying dreams of joyful prospects yet unfurled. The early light casts its gentle embrace across the village, infusing the air with crisp potential. Today, your mind is drawn to the evolution of your craft, an unfolding story of innovation and tradition that weaves pottery into the very fabric of history. The techniques and traditions you employ are the legacy of those who preceded you, each generation leaving its mark on the wheel of time, while also adapting to new discoveries and ideas. As you enter your workshop, the familiar embrace of clay beneath your fingers tells a tale scripted by centuries of practice and perseverance. Your every move echoes with the knowledge passed from master to apprentice, a lineage stretched across time like a great river, branching yet ever flowing. Each vessel you create bears the imprint of tradition as well as the whispers of innovation. The lore of pottery speaks of evolving methods of tapestry, enriched with fibers spun by curious hands, eager to improve upon what came before. The shaping wheel itself, an ingenious invention, marks one such evolution, enabling greater consistency and creativity in design. You feel its gentle hum as you work, a partner in the dance of creation that bridges history with the present moment. The use of color tells another chapter, as experimentation with mineral-based glazes brings forth hues previously unimaginable. These pigmented dances across ceramic surfaces emerge from artisans' curiosity, translating the brilliance of natural landscapes into the vivid palette of their pottery. You've witnessed how even slight changes in the firing process transform glazes, adding depth and a sense of wonder to even simple wares. Historians still argue over how quickly techniques spread from one region to another, whether facilitated by trade routes or inspired by solitary discovery. However, the essence of pottery lies in its ability to transcend borders, weaving distant cultures together, one elegant vessel at a time, each innovation a bridge linking disparate places in a common pursuit of beauty and functionality. Today, your process holds remnants of the old ways, yet hints at new conception-burst motifs developed after admiring fields of golden wheat spiraling designs evoking memories of ocean waves. These subtle shifts capture imagination's spark, channeling emotions into form and texture. The market offers a living demonstration of this evolution. Each pottery stall showcasing an array of styles, techniques, and traditions, reflecting the diversity of human experience. As you navigate the market's lively lanes, you notice potters engaged in spirited discussions, sharing ideas, and displaying new designs each interaction, a spark of creative interplay that advances the craft even further. Amidst the ebb and flow of barter and banter, you encounter a fellow artisan, eager to describe a new firing method he's been testing going, that results in incredible marbled effects across his vessels. He speaks of kilns stoked with specific woods, their distinctive smoke imbuing clay with unexpected patterns. This exchange mirrors the essence of capturing inspiration's fleeting presence, conversation that binds participants through shared passion and the willingness to explore beyond the familiar. As the day progresses, you witness the market's artistry, in mesmerizing diversity and anthology written in clay and glaze, capturing a breadth of human experience echoed through its tactile medium. It's a vivid reminder that tradition is both anchor and sail, guiding artisans on individual voyages of discovery. By evening, as the sun softens its gaze, you make your way home inspired by today's encounters. Eager visions emerge, shaping vases in fresh design compositions, or perhaps the novel process of kiln experimentation and alchemy of fire reimagined, each flicker a narrative thread waiting for tomorrow's exploration. In the quiet of your abode, as you lay beside the hearth's gentle warmth, echoes of clay and colour dance in your thoughts. A soft reflection blooms, stirring affection for yesterday's potters, whose timeless legacy breathes life into your hands. Their innovations still resonate, guiding your journey forward with the rhythm of dreamseek's nocturnal whisper, a step towards continued growth on a path both ancient and new. Cradled by the comforting melody of night, you dream wondrous landscapes, their tales scribed delicately upon ceramic skin. In the realm of sleep, creation bridges time, rekindling inspiration's flame, its lustrous glaze painted eternal by hands guided through landscapes of colour and visione. Reminder not only of what has been, but of what is destined to become. As the sun paints the horizon with strokes of morning light, you find yourself reflecting on the enduring impact of your craft. Today, your thoughts are drawn to the legacy of the potter, a lasting impression embedded within the continuum of history itself. Each piece you create, humble in its utility, yet profound in its symbolism, contributes to a narrative that stretches across centuries, leaving behind echoes for future generations to decipher. In your workshop, the clay beneath your fingers serves as a bridge between worlds, connecting past artisans with today's creators through a shared language of material, process, and artistry. Every bowl and jug, every glazed tile or ornate vessel, becomes a tangible testament to the skills and stories shaped by the hands of those who came before you, each piece a marker of human endeavour and ingenuity. As you work, it is impossible not to ponder the journey of a seemingly ordinary pot from creation to its eventual discovery by archaeologists. Entombed for centuries, these vessels become capsules of history, revealing clues about the people who made and used them. From the fiery kiln to the sediment layers of forgotten towns, every crackle, glaze, and motif tells a story, a glimpse into the daily life, beliefs, and hopes of societies long past. Historians still argue over the precise impact pottery had on the cultures that crafted it, whether as simple utility or esteemed art. Yet there is no denying the wealth of information contained in these durable artifacts. They carry evidence of diet and trade, suggest connections between civilizations, and provide insight into social structures and technological advancement. In the marketplace, you find yourself amidst pottery that mirrors this narrative, each stall laden with creations that speak of tradition, innovation, and cultural exchange. The awareness that some of these pieces will endure beyond the present moment adds a layer of purpose to your craft. It infuses your work with a sense of continuity, knowing that every vessel might someday whisper secrets to descendants eager to understand their heritage. Conversations with fellow artisans reveal a shared recognition of this legacy, uniting you under a collective ambition to leave behind something meaningful. The friendly banter exchanged over mugs of ale transforms into discussions on pottery's role as both functional necessity and historical document. The acknowledgement that your work contributes to a larger story deepens the bonds of camaraderie and purpose among your peers. The day unfolds, resonating with the rhythm of pottery transformed from raw clay into vessels imbued with both function and narrative. Even the most unassuming piece gains stature, adored by time and preserved by the earth. Each pot bears the wear of its journey, etched with memories born through its stopped motion, both art and witness to human resilience and adaptation. As evening casts a gentle twilight over the village, shadows stretch across the cobbled streets, tenderly wrapping the bustling day in peace. Returning home, your steps match the universal cadence of those who walked this path long before. Their dreams echoed in the quiet moments of reflection at the day's end. In the warmth of your dwelling, the glow of the fire kindles stories shared around the table, tales interlaced with laughter and whispers of the infinite. Held within this embrace, you can almost feel the presence of those whose craftsmanship heralded yours, the distant family of artisans linked across time by the shared touch of clay. As night draws its comforting blanket over the village, sleep arrives gently, cradled by dreams where vessels float through starlit skies, their shapes revealing 1,000 stories yet to be told. In slumber's gentle embrace, a vision unfolds, shaped by the promise of tomorrow's clay and the whispering legacy of eternal pottery. For in dreams, the potter's journey continues, marked not by steps taken and released by the clock's firm hand, but through a timeless dance across a jest guided by history's steady glow, and lit by the supple flame of creation's enduring light. The journey awaits within dreams spun lovingly upon imagination's wheel, propelling forward beyond the vessel's form, ever vibrant, forever shimmering. In the gentle embrace of dawn, your thoughts turn towards the resilience of the medieval potter and enduring spirit that weaves a legacy both humble and profound. Today, you stand not only in the midst of drying clay and cold stone, but also at the nexus of history and heritage. As you prepare for the day, your hands instinctively reach for the tools of your trade, and you reflect upon the quiet strength needed to navigate the challenges and joys of a life spent molding earth into purpose. The wheel sits at the heart of your workshop, a simple yet profound embodiment of continuity. Its circular motion reflects the unending cycles of time, echoing the resilience required to embrace both the present and the inevitable changes it brings. As your foot nudges it into rhythmic motion, you become part of a lineage that stretches back through centuries, a tapestry of artisans whose stories resonate in the hum of turning clay. Outside, the village awakens slowly, shedding the misty shroud of night to embrace the promise of a new day. You step into the cool morning air, feeling the weight of your craft settled comfortably upon your shoulders. Each bead of morning dew on the grass holds the light of 1,000 dawns, a reflection of the hopeful resilience that defines the journey of every artisan. Throughout the streets, fellow villagers move with gentle purpose, embodying the same endurance. They are bakers pulling bread from glowing ovens, blacksmiths heating iron into delicate shapes, and weavers creating tapestries of vivid hue. Together, you form the rhythm of the village, a chorus composed of individual voices singing the same song of survival and endeavor. Reflecting on your craft, you recognize the transformation it fosters, not only in clay, but in spirit. The resilience required to meet each day, with hand and heart, guides you through moments both challenging and joyful. Every piece you create represents both a determination to endure and a willingness to embrace, a progressor. Delicate balance achievable only with time and patience. Historians still debate the defining attributes of medieval resilience, whether rooted in necessity or celebrated in spirit. Yet for you, it is the quiet persistence of walking the potter's path that measures true fortitude. It is the laughter exchanged over shared struggles, the gleam of pride in a freshly glazed pot, and the silent communion with ancestors whose hands carved similar paths forward. As the day unfolds slowly toward dusk, your tasks align with the gentle rhythm of creation, each vessel shaped by the dance of wheel and hand. You admire the subtle sheen of a glaze, accented by sunlight's grace, each pigment resonating with the vibrance of dreams stirred awake. Your heart swells with gratitude for the legacy upheld in an enduring embrace, one shaped by resilience's patient hand, bound to a promise shared upon history's wheel. With evening comes peace, its soft shawl draping over the village, the air redolent of burning hearths and evening meals. Your journey complete for now, you find solace nestled within familiar stories, laughter and warmth. The bonds of family and community ebb and flow like the sea's timeless edgeon, endless act of renewal. As night settles and stars unfurl their songs across the velvet sky, you lay down, comforted by the steady rhythm of your existence. Sleep closes over you like a sheltering canopy, cradling dreams articulated in clay, whispered by hands that know the language of the earth. You ponder the legacy entrusted to you, a precious narrative folding itself among generations, tales told and untold gathering, like petals cascading softly across centuries. Slumber mingles seamlessly with the murmurs of ancestors, whispering secrets only the heart remembers. The journey toward tomorrow remains open, anticipation curling gently in time's embrace. For amidst the clay and the dreams taking flight, craft and history converge, a peaceful testament to resilience, whispering across fields of time, offering the potter's legacy echoed softly in starlight. Now, let the hum of your fan blend once more with the wind of centuries past, and as the world quiets, take solace in the beauty of understanding the heart of a potter's journey. Sweet dreams.